it. Just ignore everything. Okay. I play F5 against this now, right? We're still instant with the first. Oh my gosh. Why you gotta, like, be here that quick, man? I mean, come on. You're killing me. Bro, would it be on time you lived in the UK? Maybe I do live in the UK. Maybe I live in the UK. I live in the UK now. You don't know. It's ambiguous. Let me get my water. Maybe I have become British. Destroyer of worlds. You don't know. Now you're too based to live in the UK. But I could be based in the UK, right? Couldn't I? Couldn't I be? Couldn't I be? You could still be based in the UK, but you still wouldn't be based. You know what? Fair enough. Fair play. Why is it... I forgot to switch the overlay to the one I normally use for this. Hello, Shaws. And I also forgot to do this. Okay, give me a second. Even an hour late, still everything's all messed up. Okay, that should fix it. In theory. So, how are you? I'm doing pretty well, actually. Actually, I'm doing pretty okay. Had some thoughts. Man, I have so many, like, ideas of things I want to make, but then I really struggle to commit to making them. And it really kills my vibe, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Your thoughts cringe? I know. I know. Head empty, no think. You know what? That might be the way of doing things. Low key. Defeated WFM at Rapid Chess today? Hey, that's huge! Congrats, man. I've done that. That's fun. Taking titled scalp hits different, you know what I mean? It's just annoying. I'm not sure. Somehow I think a lobotomy would not be the best. Somehow, some way. 1952, but then lost. Now I'm 1930. Well, I lost 2 games of chess today because I tried playing 2 games of chess, but I trying to play chess while I was supposed to be doing something else was a mistake, and so I lost all the elo that I hypothetically could have gained. So sad. I really should know better at this point. It's just... It kind of connects to the thing I was saying, how it's frustrating how there's so many things I want to do, but don't struggle committing to doing. Part of that is, like, sitting down and actually just playing rapid chess when I'm at my best. To scratch the in just the right way. Would scratch an itch in just the right way. This is an interesting itch you got if a lobotomy would scratch it. That's a fascinating situation to be in. I have no idea. Maybe they're not good at rapid. Maybe they struggle with faster time controls. That's possible. Right? Because titles in chess are only are for every time control. You know, not for every. They're for classical specifically. So, if you're not good at classical, then you're kind of out to lunch. At least in theory, right? Speaking of out to lunch, this position looks miserable. See, this is the type of chess I've been playing today. Just, like, complete garbage. For no reason. Like, it's not even garbage that makes sense. It's incoherent garbage. I do have a developmental lead, so it feels like I could almost pull something off in this position. But, you know, horseshoes and hand grenades and all that, I don't feel like it works. Just barely. If he takes with bishop here first, I don't think I'm in the worst position. I take with knight. This is a little weak. If he plays rook f here, then I guess I could try and play like a queen f6. Looks kind of interesting. Struggling with listening to albums lately? Why do you think that is? Are you running out of albums you want to listen to, or are you just struggling with the motivation? I had a feeling he would go for that. It's a interesting exchange sack. He's using arrows in online chess cheating? It better not be. That'd be kind of dumb. Not because, like... It'd be dumb because they're, like, actively providing this tool, which in that case would be considered cheating. And that's, like, beyond unsustainable as a model. Here, if he takes the knight, I low-key might be able to play, like, c6. When bishop check doesn't work, so he has to retreat the bishop. But I guess he could go here is the problem. Yeah, and the queen says. Don't feel like listening to something new, you know? I do. That was part of what was interesting about that. I'm gonna call it a challenge, but that's kind of Zoomer brain rot. That was part of what was so interesting about that whole process to me, you know, is because it really seemed to me like at some point you would hit that point. Just because of human. I don't know. Dumb way of putting that, but not available for mobile users? Yeah, but mobile users also get access to a better tool to interact with the chessboard. Like, I think it's widely considered that touchscreens are better than mice for chess. In which case, it's kind of like, okay, everybody has their own advantage. Speaking of which, what is my mouse doing? Super stuttery today for some reason. Is the sensor covered by something? It's making it legitimately hard to click on things. Like, legit, the mouse is, like, almost unusable right now. Or it's actually just unusable and my browser crashed. Oh, okay, something's clearly wrong. Well, there goes that Elo. There goes Elo. Okay, let me try something. Flowers won Song of the Year from the Grammys. By the way. Well, I don't even know what song that is. So... I've never heard the song Flowers. Server overload? No, it's on my local machine. It's on my computer. My actual mouse cursor on my machine is acting up. Okay. Let me see if I can... Oh yes, as soon as I start streaming, get an email, a message, and like 2 texts on a different app. Okay, the mobile app is not detecting that I'm in the middle of the game. Okay, well there goes that Elo. See, this is what I mean. Just stuff goes wrong because I'm not fully prepared. Okay, we're switching to webcam. So my mobile is better? No, that's why not running experimental software on your machine is better. But I'm incapable of doing that. So let me just do a system restart. Linguini probably. True. Another Ratatouille reference. Also, again, I haven't listened to it, so I wouldn't know. Also, I added 3 movies to my movie list. Actually, wait, how many I had? I had a bunch. I'm trying to get back into actually doing my movie list more so than I have been. and Cyrus. I've never even heard of Cyrus, so I'm 2 steps behind. I've been watching many a movie. Now, to be fair, I added 4 movies in the past 2 days. 2 of those movies I haven't seen. So I watched 1 movie yesterday. I have seen, but I saw a long time ago. And I just forgot to add them. So, I watched 1 movie. Oh, Miley Cyrus. Oh, okay. I know who Miley Cyrus is. Stubbed my toe on the way over to get my phone. Piece of junk. We're closing that. Keeping that open. Okay, my cursor wants to work now. Up, docs my Steam. Oh no, wait. Y'all can't see my, y'all can't see my desktop yet. Hey, I didn't docs anything. Pro streamer over here. Okay, I'm not counting that as a loss. I know the game went terrible, but come on, guys. I'm not counting that as a loss. Do you want to watch movies at 2x? No! No. Took your advice. Now I'm 1500. Can I have a tax? Can I have 30 ELO from you as an ELO tax? Can I? Because I'm struggling right now, Gabe. I'm struggling. I know I said that last time because I needed it. And now I need it more. I'm once again asking for your ELO. Loving it out here in the States. You can sort out the cheese situation. Sort the cheese situation out pronto. That is definitely a tweet. See, look, now my cursor's working. I wonder what went wrong. Okay. But really, you gain 1,500. You gain 300 ELO in the best you want. Hey. So, while I could take all the credit, I think it's a little bit dishonest of me too, just because. You know, the fact that you're coming asking questions and then playing a bunch of chess means you're probably going to gain ELO with or without me, but I think it probably helped. Watch Danya's speedrun, help me gain ELO. It probably would, honestly. I just haven't been studying recently. I need to get back into that too. I think this upcoming week I'll try to dedicate some time to chess study. Maybe I'll start tomorrow, because I have some free time tomorrow. I just need to get back into actually studying chess. I've kind of fallen out of it over the past 2 weeks. Took your advice, which helped. I'm glad. I'm really happy I could help. Memes aside, I'm really super happy I could help. And I'm happy for you. 1,500, that's, you know, we're getting better. Why would I get a rose today? Is today Valentine's Day? No, Valentine's Day is later, isn't it? Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, Valentine's Day is next week. Today is Rose Day? Rose Day? What the heck is Rose Day? I've legit never heard of this before. Got on Twitter that tracks the Taylor Swift private jet flights and does the carbon price calculations. Her lawyers are threatening a lawsuit, which is funny. That is pretty funny. Took a look advice we just helped. Ooh, did I recommend? I recommended Complete Guide to Chess Strategy, right? Or did I recommend? Amateur's Mind? I know it's one of the two, but I don't remember which one because it would have depended on how I felt like your play was. And while I remember you, I don't remember exactly how you played. Get a rose? Yeah, no, not happening. I love roses. Truth be told, huge fan. But it's kind of a non-negotiable. I knew about Valentine's Day, but I didn't know Valentine's Week was a thing. This is the first I've heard of it. Like, I believe you, but like, I've never heard of Valentine's Week in my life. Maybe, is that recent, or am I just dumb? Do I actually just have no idea what I'm talking about, or is that a recent thing? Valentine's Week versus Valentine's Day. I know Hallmark gets kind of excited, and so they decide that everything that was a short period of time could be a long one. How reassess your chess? That makes sense. They're both excellent. Wait, reassess your chess? Ooh, interesting. Interesting. That's a more advanced one. I mean, it makes sense out of it. That's a good book too. I'm only halfway through that one. Highly recommend. That's absolutely a very good book. You know what I mean? Never made sense all my life. Same. No, but I mean, I know about Valentine's Day. I just didn't know there was a whole week. I knew about the day. I'm on page 100. Isn't it good though? Doesn't he have a fascinating writing style? I'm telling you, Silman was an amazing writer. The week is probably a capitalist construct. It definitely is a capitalist construct. I don't know, it's my first chess book. Well, you can still tell if you're enjoying it, if you're finding it easy to understand, that sort of thing. Those parts you don't need to have read other chess books to understand. I mean, obviously, like, reading other chess books makes it comparison points, but... But I mean, if you gain 300 elo, it definitely isn't hurting, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that are capitalist constructs but aren't inherently bad. Not a lot. There's a non-negligible number of things which can be considered capitalist constructs but aren't the end of the world terrible. Okay, so here was my thought process. This... What I really want to do is check, but now I'm thinking about what if he plays bishop. It's close. I think I play check anyway. He's only up a pawn, right? Yeah, and if he goes bishop, I go knight takes, and then I take this at the end of the line. Checkbooks lately? Interesting. Essentially, Valentine's Day, a week-long celebration, been popularized over recent years, largely due to marketing effect by business, retail, and capitalist themes, love, romance. That's what I said. I mean, I said it in a much simplified, very Zoomer, very TikTok influencer way, where I said Hallmark wants money, right? But like, that's what I meant to say. That's a much smarter version of what I said. But at the end of the line, at the end of the day, it was close to what I said. Bad sleep schedule only play when I get good sleep. So I used to do that, and that's when I gained elo. Then I stopped doing that, and now I'm losing elo. That was ChatGPT's reply? Oh, that makes sense. Sounds like ChatGPT. Checkbooks. Saying it out loud is a pun there. Anyway, have they been good? I mean, sounds like a stupid question, but actually I think I take this because now the rook's trapped. Yeah, if I took the queen first, he could have played knight takes, and after takes with bishop, the rook's not trapped. But now the rook's trapped, and so if he goes queen takes, hey. Zdravo Tobi. Don't like ChatGPT? In what sense? Kakoli Makedonskiov. Pa dobro. Have been good? Yeah. Again, the two movies that I watched The Big Short yesterday, and I watched Banshees of Inisherin today. And I liked both of them. I like Banshees more, but I didn't, like, adore either one. You have any advice from 1500 2000? Endgames. If you found Silman's writing style palpable, his Endgame book is excellent. I recommend that one too. I've also heard good things about 100 Endgames You Must Know. So if you want to mix it up and try a different author, then I've heard good things about that one. Haven't read it personally, but I know people who have, and they've been successful. So RBT is currently way too bloated with false information. People are using way too much in the wrong way. Okay, in that case, I completely agree. I completely agree in that case. It's just there's a few different types of I don't like ChatGPT. You're definitely more fluid. Pa da. O ti vesh bom. Ne znam дека не сум течна, но малко по малко ќе учам и учам. Вежбам близко секојдневно. Не секојдневно буквално, но близко. Заради имам шалфско клуб, 2 пати неделно, имам университет, но за сега сум на одмор меѓу семестри, но нормално имам тоа. Имам турнири, кога одам на кај турнири. You guys use ChatGPT? I do. It's very hard to get fluent in Macedonian. Yes. True. This is a factual statement. Can I refuse to use ChatGPT? I respect that. I find it incredibly useful, and while I agree that it's often used incorrectly, my kind of thought process is, well, I won't use it incorrectly beforehand. You know, it's just very simple. Some people, even from Macedonia, ain't fluid. You think? I mean, I could see that. It's just a very specific language, and so a lot of this was a dumb move. And so you have to be really used to its intricacies, and it also doesn't have a ton of resources out there for it because it's not like a rare language, it's slightly more obscure than one of the most common ones. Don't think I know? Oh, I believe you. Toby Keith? I've heard the name. Where have I heard the name? Oh, yeah. He's the country star who died, did he not? Yeah, I've heard quite a bit of his music. Don't think I know. I've also seen ChatGPT is absolutely useless for any sort of law subjects, and I really don't need it. Oh, that's fair. There are specific applications where I find it handy. However, I know I have to be incredibly careful when I use it because it is liable to spit out pure garbage. And so I need to know what I'm talking about first to make sure that I can tell when it's spitting out garbage. Which takes away some of the utility because it's like, okay, you can't just spam it anymore. You actually have to know what you're talking about. But I mean, that's like always been the case, and I don't think ChatGPT changed anything in that sense. It just added some other stuff. He died? Yeah, I saw that. But yeah, Macedonian is a very specific language with a lot of intricacies, and those intricacies aren't easy to find in resources you would normally look at for languages because it's kind of random in the scheme of the world, you know? If you know Macedonian, I know the neighbor country language, since a lot of people in the past use Slovenian language. Yeah, absolutely, because like Bulgarian, Serbian, all that. I kind of want to learn Greek. I've been starting a little bit, but I haven't done a ton. I don't know why I use ChatGPT when I don't want to work too hard on schoolwork and relax. Fair enough. I'm basically at that point, with more steps. I'm that with extra steps. Semester, right? Exactly, yeah. Look at these knights. You know what I meant. Okay. It's pretty handy. I still read what it writes, so I understand the topic. No, I don't. See, that's kind of what I mean. So, like, is it symbol language? Symbol or simple? So, like, here's the thing. If I were to hypothetically use ChatGPT for something schoolwork adjacent, I'm not saying I have, I'm saying if I were to, then I would only be using it. I would only use it to write out stuff that I already know. For example, I would read a book on a topic and then ask ChatGPT to write me something on the same topic and then fact check it. Probably harder. It might be. I've heard the Macedonian's hard from the one guy I know who knows Greek is hard from the one guy I know who knows Greek. It would be using it to only write about topics I already know about to help reduce some of just the straight labor of writing paragraphs. And then I would edit it out. ChatGPT could just spit out garbage now. Does that for law? If you have to explain some concept law, there's like 9% chance I'll be wrong. Exactly. That's why I don't use ChatGPT as a source. That's what I mean to say. ChatGPT for me is never a source. It is a writing assistant. It cannot be trusted as a source of information. Just full stop. End sentence. It cannot be trusted as a source of information. That's what people get. That's what people get wrong. It's like Googling something and trusting the first result you see on Google. You just can't. Yeah, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, Gabe. I'm saying what I do. It cannot be a primary source. It cannot be a secondary source. It cannot be a source. You have to be super careful. But that's okay. I can be careful. If I were to use it. Which I don't. Sorry, a little twitch. Wikipedia is 1,000,000% more trustworthy than ChatGPT. It's not close. It's not close. Wikipedia, for all its flaws, can still function as a usable source of information. Wikipedia has flaws, absolutely, but it can be a source of information. And I don't have false information. That would be good. I would like that. I think that would be productive. It's definitely better than a lot of classes in high school. I would appreciate that. The problem is it's difficult because that information goes out of date so quickly. It's like how to identify false information changes. Like, an example is now, how to find false information is different than it was in the pre-ChatGPT era, you know? Using a very specific history of law. Yeah, but if the professor can tell that it's ChatGPT, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's kind of the point. Is if you're doing it right, then enough of it should be true information, and more importantly, your information, that there's no way they could tell because it's just good. It's just, albeit slightly generic, well-written and true to fact and factual essay. Like, that's what I mean. Having anti-propaganda government agency. Well, having an anti-propaganda government agency is like having a criminals association against crime. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not, like, what's the intended outcome here? Just straight up wrong? Oh yeah, no, ChatGPT does that. And so you can't use it as a source. Use it as a writing tool, and you correct it and you edit it. Another good use for ChatGPT is you put in what you've written, and it'll give you grammatical corrections, which it's not always correct on them, but it'll catch a lot of it. You see, it's about propaganda. It would be the funniest thing. I love that. Like, it sounds like a good idea in theory. It really does. That's part of the problem. Is you think about it and you're like, oh wow, that could work. The problem is just, okay, now everyone we have to bribe is in one building. Literally 1984, the Ministry of Truth is what they called it in 1984. But like, obviously 1984 had so many other societal problems that it wouldn't be that bad in practice, but most of the time. But that's not the point. Autonomous agency? Well, I mean, like, sure, but that's like independent journalism. We just kind of, I don't love 1984. I have a lot of problems with it, but it's a very useful tool. Like, that's just independent journalism, is it not, Ronnie? Will it polarized at some point? Well, maybe, but it's independent journalism. You're having people who are saying, okay, I'm going to fact check the government. Like, everybody should be doing that. Everybody being a strong word, but like, as many people as possible should be doing that. There doesn't need to be one agency. There needs to be 1,000. In theory, that's the role journalism plays, right? It exists. It's just not in the Wall Street Journal anymore. Independent journalism exists in the same way it's ever existed, which is not fully independent because nothing ever is, but like useful and existing anyway, you know? Independent journalism doesn't have to be 100% separate from the rest of society in order to be useful. Obviously that would be best, but like realistic expectations and all that. I want to try this move. Funding will make it more reachable to the public. But as soon as you introduce government funding, you give them a form of indirect control over the journalism. That's the problem. That's kind of what Rexbor was saying when he says independent journalism doesn't exist anymore. Or at least that's what I think he was trying to say. As soon as you give it government funding, it becomes not a glorified government agency, but you run into the same flaws that you get with a government agency, or very similar flaws. Again, I guess not the same, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but very similar flaws. Right? Because then who do you give funding to? It doesn't help that I just watched The Big Short. That's literally what the movie was about. Assuming no, well, if the government's not corrupted, then you're kind of already okay because you don't even need the anti-corruption agency. That's kind of the funny part. It works only if you don't need it, and if you need it, it doesn't work. So if the government's not corrupted, then you don't need that agency. That's the funny part. That's kind of the communism works as long as everybody knows everybody. It's like, okay, yeah, but at that point you don't need it anymore. It's a catch-22. It absolutely is. That's part of the problem. That's what makes it so difficult, right? Again, I'm not telling you I have a better solution. I'm telling you why that solution has failed in practice. It's not a stupid idea. It really isn't. We've tried it too many times for it to be a stupid idea. But it's like... it doesn't quite pan out when it's been tried in practice. Balkans, the government is too corrupt. Well, forget the Balkans. Again, I watched a movie about the 2008 financial crisis in the US of America. This is a very bad position. I think I'm only losing a pawn. Nah, I'm losing more because the rook on d8 is going to be really strong. Assuming the government's not corrupt. It's like assuming a spherical cow, you know what I mean? Because, like, again, I'm not going to say nearly anything. It's a bit extreme. But, like, a ton of things work if you assume the government's not corrupted. Right? Like, a ridiculous number of things work. But that's kind of, again, in The Big Short, you had these agencies which rated basically the collections of mortgages that people were investing in. You had these agencies whose job it was to rate them based on how safe an investment they were, right? And so these agencies, their entire job was to, like, provide some level of safety by saying, okay, here's the collection, here's, like, what it's worth. And the problem is they would just get it, they were basically, the long and short of it is they were getting paid off by the people they were supposed to be rating, because it was like, okay, either you give us a good rating or we go down the street. I know, I'm in it too. Big Short, I had a few problems with, but it was a good movie. I mean, you saw where I put on my list. I put out 103, so I didn't love it, but it's a really good story, so it helps. It's one of those movies where it almost, like, gets points taken away because of how well it sticks to the source material. Because at that point, it's like, okay, it's a good story, but it's a good story because the original story is a good story, and, like, not because of its own merits, almost. You know what I mean? I'd love to play this, but I can't. So I want to get to this square. I just liked it. I could see that. I did like it too. I liked it quite a bit as well. Do I want to force him to move the knight? Not particularly. The performances were pretty good. Although I don't think Steve Carell did super well, and I like him as an actor. We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. No, I have not. We Yevgeny Zamyatin. What is it? It's a novel. Me. Okay, it's a dystopian novel. It inspired 1984? Interesting. And so it sounds like Orwell thought that it inspired a ton of Brave New World, but that the writer of Brave New World kind of disagreed, which is pretty funny. Like, tell someone, oh, your work is inspired by this, and they say no. And you're like, oh, no, it totally is. that's that's kind of a really goofy thing to do, if you ask me. Called Empire? I feel like I've heard that name before. There's a book I have to read because I heard like two-thirds of it narrated, but I wasn't paying super close attention. So I need to get back to that one. Read a Wii in a French translation or review it. Oral support is saying, well, for his next novel. Yeah, it's something I've heard as a claim about Orwell is that he wasn't terribly creative, and a lot of his ideas can be traced back to other people. I've never verified those claims because I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I've heard that as a claim. Modern phenomenon of imperialism centered on individual nation states to an emergent postmodern construction, powers which authors call empire. So basically their point is that all governments kind of have a bro code going on. Yeah? Where it's like, hey, if you don't really push us too hard, we won't really push you too hard. And we'll all stay in power. The U.S. a lot? Well, I mean, the U.S. deserves it, but... The red-blooded American, the U.S. deserves it. Not exactly complaining about criticisms of the U.S. Is this guy still thinking? Let me refresh my page. Sometimes I see a glitch. No, he's still thinking. I don't know why he's still thinking. The move feels pretty clear to me. Is he calculating something along the lines of this? And what the consequences are of that? Well, I can't go there, but... We ascend a future where the one state, governed by the benefactor, controls every aspect of life. Citizens, known as numbers, live in glass apartments, have scheduled lives, and are deprived of privacy to ensure collective harmony. The protagonist, D503, I agree with this move, I think this is the best move, is a mathematician. Begins questioning the regime after falling in love with a woman involved in a rebellion against the state. Yeah, that seems kind of similar to 1984. I see where people are going when they're comparing him. Hey, Michael Burns. I know you. We met long before that. Or at least I've seen you long before that. I don't know if we've met technically, formally. Truth be told. I think it's Thruga once. I believe so too. I believe so too. I mean, you've played with people I know for a while, so I try to keep tabs, just, you know, trying to be a good chess coach and all that, so. This is a goofy position. Can I not take this? I mean, it's definitely not a good position for me, but it can't be that bad, right? Oh, that's a sick move. The point is, after takes, he has a fork. And if I go king here, he takes, and he wins. So I'm not actually going to take that, just because I see that I lose the game on the spot if I do. I'm already definitely losing here, but at least I can try in this position. I really want to get back into writing. I mentioned earlier my frustration about a feeling like I can't do the things I want to do, and that is at least partially motivated by a work that I had the idea to make earlier today, and that I spent a lot of the time that I hadn't been doing anything else today fleshing out. I mean, that's like the difference, right? Is people who succeed do things. And so complaining about not being able to do things being your reason for not succeeding is kind of like a no-dur. But king here is almost certainly... it's probably this one. This one. No, we already did this one. This is not a good position for yours truly. I am certainly losing. So here's my question, Rexpor. Why don't you get back into writing? Is there a specific reason, or will inspiration actually start again? That makes sense. "58 seconds. This is not an easy position to win." It's definitely winning, but it's not an easy win with 58 seconds on the clock. Just because of how inactive your king is. Now, this was a stupid move because it gave you another pawn for free, but that's beside the point. Okay. I don't think you can defend that pawn. See what I mean? A very good position, to be sure, but difficult to win. I'm not even sure he's going to win this anymore. I actually sort of doubt it. Yeah, like, what is that move? See what I mean? This move makes 0 sense. It doesn't accomplish anything. And now he's got 20 seconds to not lose, which, to be fair, should be pretty easy. And honestly, if I were him, this would be my move. Yeah. You're making your life harder here, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Now he's going for it. Now he's going for it. He's done trying to win this. Watch. Really? That's a bold strategy. Wow. I'm actually a little shocked. I'm like, I'm not gonna say impressed. I'm like shocked. Not, I'm gonna say not what I would have done, but maybe what I would have done is worse. I really disagree with this. Knight c8? No, this works too. Takes, king back. You can't defend the pawn. Right? Yeah, no, that's not what he should have done. What he should have done is he should have taken this right here. That, immediately. If you're watching stream now, because you see on chess.com that I have a stream, you should have taken this pawn right now. 15 seconds on the clock, you're not going to win this. You're only going to lose a draw, so take the draw immediately. Secure that draw. There's you're not going to 15 seconds. You're only going to lose. If there was an increment, maybe, but even then, it was much harder to play that. Back later, need to go eat something, do it. It's much harder to play that for white with the king deactivated. 2202. Interesting. Let's see how 2202 handles this. Ooh, he knows this line. Okay, give me a second. I always forget my moves here. I mean, I know taking is reasonable. I'm going to play this. It's rapid. How do I find out? Thank you. I mean, ta-da. So I start. Actually, well, let me just. So I start the queue after I lose my first rated game of the day. So I have yet to lose a rated game. So I'm not starting the. I'm not starting the viewer games just yet. I mean, this is a funny position. Oh yeah, no, I never play rated with anyone on my stream. It's just I start by playing some rated games as warm up, and also hopefully gaining elo. But you know that's neither here nor there. What do I move this bishop? Real talk. Kind of here. I'm not sold on either one. Maybe this was the plan. Yeah, no, this was. I'm bringing the bishop out this way and this one out this way is better. I have regrets. What a weird position. That's why I play this. It's because these are very... Oh, he has stinking... Trapping the bishop. I missed that completely. I have to take that, right? Yeah. Piece of junk. Well, that's even better. Is it? If I take that, I get a lot for the queen. What is that, 2 pieces and a rook? That should be too much, right? Right? Oh no, he takes the rook. He takes the bishop at the end. It's only Lasker. Yeah, he takes this. He has Lasker comp. Oh well, I have Lasker comp. In which case, it's not as tempting. Okay, well we play this on. To be fair, it's not the worst position I've ever played. Obviously, I'm worse, but. This knight's pretty poorly placed. I'll bring it here. Gives me the option of f4, which looks good. That's a bizarre square for the rook. That's bizarre. I'll play rook c1. What is he playing for e5? Is e5 good? Doesn't look good. See, if I go here, he goes queen here. That's the problem. That is the problem. Oh, I'm stupid. I just blundered a rook. I was thinking this. I'm like, oh, why don't I go here immediately? Because it blunders a rook. And from the school, I'm going to... Principal 1. This is too much. What do you expect them to do? And you send the whole welcome committee. This guy's playing weird. Accepted the acceptance yet? Yeah, but you're going to accept the acceptance, right? Right? You're going to... Well, it wasn't a question, it was a statement. You will accept the acceptance. No problem. No worries. Being bad at chess was a reason not being in the stream. I wouldn't be here. I mean, look at this position. I should play Queen H3. Is there something forcing here? Oh, there's a queen here, isn't there? Every time I look at this position, it gets worse. Royally messed this up. You playing until mate? Yeah. Gosh, this guy's playing like a machine. Yeah. Accepting the acceptance. Yeah, I thought it was an intentionally goofy wording. Because, you know, I'm the type of guy to purposely use wording that might be slightly incorrect or slightly off sounding because I think it sounds funny. So, well, usually when people say something like that, I assume that they're doing the same thing. Because I'm like, oh, I would totally do that. Say that, whatever, you know? You know? You gotta try something, right? Like more correct wording or whatever. What do you mean you didn't get it? 100% attention, my brains to brain. What? This is depressing. This is going to be fun. Oh yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that you've been getting better. As you can tell, I've been getting worse. Oh, that was a stupid move. He just has mate in 1. Why is it taking you so long to play mate in 1? Okay, decides your mate in 2 instead. What is he doing? Yeah, but I've gotten to 2200, Mr. Burns. I've been on a continuous downward rating spiral for the past 2 months? 3 months? My brain not braining. My brain didn't come with a better word than accepting the acceptance. Therefore, I wrote accepting the acceptance. My brain was braining that it was poor wording. My brain wasn't braining better wording. Therefore, we are stuck with poor wordings. Stuck with a poor wording? Do you read chess books? I haven't in a while. That's honestly why I've been losing elos, because I haven't been practicing as much recently, and I've been stressed and tired. And then I just kind of like stopped practicing with stress and tired. What is he doing? I mean, now he's just messing around. How's it do Alco? Let's get S game going terrible. Tormenting you? Yeah. What's going to make to move like 59? Antients, I've lost like 50, 100 points because of the same thing, so I feel you. Hey, volleyball, welcome back. I guess now we block with... Let's block with Bishop. Both look terrible. Both are terrible. I need to have some music playing. Give me a second, I'll turn on some music for myself. Here. Bad game? Terrible game. Just absolutely awful. Horrendous. In a word. I need to turn on some music for myself. Antians, we all have time like that. You gotta learn to pick yourself up after those. Hurts, but... Okay, well, I played this before, right? Also, Enzo, have you heard of Rose Day? Aw, that stinks, Michael. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Good luck with your homework. Rose Day. Yeah, like the flower. Oh, that was very southern sounding. I mean, I said flower. Sometimes it just comes out, you know? The South just releases itself. Yeah? Okay, well, I hadn't. I was hoping you hadn't either. I was really just... Did I go laugh? I've missed the Maya laugh completely. Okay, yeah. The evil demon of the Bible Belt. Yes. As a friend from the Bible Belt once said, you can take the boy out of the South, but you can't take the South out of the boy. And I'm not sure if that was a lament or a celebration. Yeah, today is the Rose Day. I've never heard of Rose Day in my life. Never heard of Rose Day. There's just a few words that come out all Southern. Evidently flower is one of them. Sometimes flower. I can say it correct, but... There's another word recently that I said, and my mom said differently, and I don't remember what it was. Don't remember what word it was. It started with like an S or something, and it was one of those words that's like a long version of another word, so I pronounced it in a different way. I don't remember. I like put the emphasis on a different syllable or something. Alcobuck lul. You know what? True. Factual statement. Stinky game to lose this one. Is he finally going to checkmate me? So I thought. How many moves had it been? 70, and when was the last capture? 40? No, it's 56? It's pawn mover capture. Oh, he could have gone on for a lot more. Hello, Vluppy. Yeah, of course we make friends. I would promote the pawns. I would have had more respect for him if he did, honestly. Half the reason I was still playing is I wanted to see what he would do. He kind of chose lame away winning. Like, if you're going to BM, at least, like, do it funny. You know, like, promote all knights. Like Hikaru against that engine that one time, you know what I mean? Like, trap my king in the corner and then promote all knights. All this actually, you know, forcing me to move around and play chess. It's not even funny. Yeah, bishop g2 was incorrect. Because I have to remember what my plan is. My plan is to push this, in which case I want bishop e2. And this position is actually slight preference white, which is funny. That's why I like this line. h4, sheesh. But bishop d2 is second best move, actually. Yeah, interesting. Anyway. e4. This is just a horrible mistake. Just bishop d2, and then f4, yeah. Okay. This line is so rare that I completely forget how I'm supposed to play it. Now he goes bishop takes, knight takes, and he plays queen a5 check. I play literally anything, and then he can go check and take the knight. What if I go here? He has knight h5. Oh, that's disgusting. Play rook e1, and there's just absolutely full compensation for the piece here. Like, look at this. This is absolutely compensation. Yeah, that's actually super interesting. Yeah, I should have more carefully considered my position. I played careless in an opening where you get punished for playing careless, and I got punished for playing careless. It's Shaw's turn. It's Shaw's, right? Because I'm thinking like Gauze. But it could also be pronounced Shaw's. Gauze. So I see it and I think Gauze because that's the closest word I have in my brain. I'm one of the rare England fans. Isn't the England funny? Like fan favorite but bad? Ronnie, I think Ronnie's here. Wait. Wait, hold on a second. Time out. Yeah, your name did come up. I forgot to say your name out loud, though. Let's go. Okay. What do I play against the English? I think I'm supposed to play f5. I think I'm supposed to be using f5 against everything that's not e4. But I don't remember. Honestly. Truthfully and sincerely, I do not recall. I think there's like a different setup you can get against specifically the Dutch. The Dutch against the English, but I don't remember. Okay, this is playable. I've always liked Black's position here, though. It's just, there's so many, like, anti-things you have to worry about when you're playing the Dutch. Pick me opening? Just wants to be different? What do you mean? It's one of the most continuously sound and respectful openings in the history of chess. It's, like, always been good. And it, like, continues to be good. It's, like, impressive how long-lasting of an opening it is. I considered playing the English for a while, and I used to play it out of the ready, so I would go knight f3, c4. But I didn't like dealing with some of the lines you would have to going into that. Specifically against 1d5, because if you play knight f3, 1d5, you can play c4, but then Black can force you into a reverse Blumenfield gambit, and I'm just not a huge fan of those positions. I'd rather have the pawn. Even though I know objectively it's totally reasonable to play those positions for whatever color. So I made the mistake last time of playing knight d8, I believe, which I think is just a poor move. So this time I'm going to learn from my mistakes. Poggies. Knight d7 to knight b6, which not only protects b7 by blocking the path of the queen, also attacks d5. And then I can play this afterwards. Except I didn't guard the pawn. What am I doing with my life? I just can't play chess, evidently. Just chess is not a thing that is going to happen. Well, chess is happening. It's good chess that's not happening, I should specify. Why are you letting me take the pawn back? That seems a little bit unnecessarily magnanimous. Unless I'm missing something. No, I don't think I am. Because even if he goes here, here, queen... I can go queen, right? And I can first off just block with pawn. I suppose, yeah. Which leaves me as a little bit of an ugly pawn structure, so I'd rather not. And again, bishop here runs into queen here, which isn't the most lovely thing I've ever seen in my life. Again, I could play here and hold on to the knight, but I feel like this pawn... It's just... everything's a little bit sus. Actually... I know the problem is this. Okay, fine. Fine. I'll take the worst pawn structure of all time. I'm very dissatisfied with my position. And I'll give you a pawn. What am I doing? I'm just, like, giving up tons of material. I'm, like, missing basic tactical ideas. I'm missing basic positional ideas. Some days, man. But okay. Some days the brain just won't work. Castle into a queen pin. I'm going to cry now. Antians, look at my position. Look at my chess. Look at me. We are in the same boat, my friend. And it is a very sad boat to be in. I'm just cleanly down a pawn out of the opening. Maybe I need a different song. What do I listen to? Y'all got any suggestions? Miserable position. I'm not only down a pawn, but I've got an incredibly weak pawn on d5, and I've let my opponent create the greatest knight of all time on e5, and my bishop's stuck behind its own pawn chains. It's terrible. Just horrible. Now I've actually got something. No, I have not. I haven't heard any of the Eurovision for this year. Is it any good? Norway has a mixed record. Sometimes y'all go hard, but other times it's just weak. Like, there are definitely far worse countries than Norway. Definitely. But y'all aren't, you know, top 10 or something. But is it good? You never answer my question. Yes, Kate? Is this the one? Ulveham? Is it Ulveham? Ah, fair enough. I respect it. Okay, let me listen. I'll give it a listen. Maybe I can hold. I probably can. How are you doing today, Kate? It's made from an ancient Norwegian ballad from the Middle Ages. I mean, that's cool. Dude, I thought I'd start fixing my sleep when school started. No, it's only gotten worse. I can even tell you that one. Yep. Yep. Oh, yeah. No, I see what you're talking about, Norwegian. I can see what they're going for. I'm just not a fan. I think this king and pawn endgame's hard for him to win, so I'm going to put trade into it. Yeah. I play Ultra Kill while I wait for my opponent to move. Ultimate Super Pill. I mean, in your defense, Ultra Kill is excellent, but that is the most, like, hilarious thing. Again, in your defense, Ultra Kill, very nice. But, like, come on. That's funny. Honestly? Truthfully? In fact? Can he win this? I don't think so. Talk to me. Talk to me, Ronnie. How do you win? Explain it to me. Except draw? Yeah, why on earth did you let me draw that, Ronnie? I was in misery. I don't agree with that at all. Are you good at Ultra Kill, Antians, or are you like me and just play through the game for the story and I get like C and D rank on every level? It has a few variations, but the basic story is about a young virgin transformed into a needle, knife, and sword by her evil stepmother. But the people in the town liked both the needle, the knife, and the sword, so to punish her again, the stepmother transformed into a wolf. Then the stepmother becomes... Wait, what? What? The last sentence is a trip. Did I make any mistakes? Oh, I'm sure you did. But let's find out. I made more mistakes. Okay, so knight takes is just terrible. So, you aptly punished me for this excellent move. E5 might have been bad too. What was the move I was supposed to play? H6. That's such a computer move. Okay, makes perfect sense. So, sure. Okay, now you're just a clean pawn up with better pieces. So far, it's all going really, really well. And you've just cleanly outplaying me, right? So here's where things start to get interesting. First off, this move. Your queen, you need to get your pieces active. Queen B3 gets your pieces active. Yeah, I know, that last sentence, that last two sentences, I suppose. But the queen on D2 just isn't doing a whole lot. Bring it here. What am I going to do? Push the pawn? Put some pressure. Put some pressure, you know? I'm playing rook C7. Maybe you push and try to kill me on the queen side here, but I don't know. Queen D2 is not terrible, but it's just... Don't mind rook takes. This is all fine. Rook C3 is interesting. Honestly, the knight is better. It works better with the queen than the bishop does anyway. Just take. Yeah, I know. This is a very good outpost for the knight. But you have to actually kill me afterwards. You know? It's not... This isn't passive income. This isn't Sigma Male grind set videos where it's like, oh, you put the knight in the outpost and I resign. Right? At 1930, and I used to get higher, people are going to stop resigning and they're going to start fighting. And tooth and nail, which is what I did in this position to my benefit. Thought it was a draw? No, you are completely killing me here. Because here's the thing. You can always... First off, I don't know if you've heard this, but it's true. Queen and knight are better than queen and bishop. They simply work together better. That's number one. Number two, my bishop is terrible. This knight is amazing. And so you're always putting pressure. I can't do anything. Meanwhile, you can push. So even if it is a draw, which it isn't, but even if it was... you would be the one pushing. You would be the only one who can pretend to threaten to win. If I try to play something like this, you get to queen f8 and I lose on the spot. So, made a fortress. As Magnus Carlsen once said, I don't believe in fortresses. Most fortresses don't exist. There are fortresses. They do exist because Carlsen has used them. So that's kind of a joke response, but they are much more rare than you would think. A6. First off, just queen c5, make a passer. That's idea number one. Idea number one, queen c5, make a passer. Yeah, most fortresses are psychological. So that's winning plan number one. Queen c5, force the queens off the board. And if we do this, then you're just instantly winning because you're going to play here, 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 here. And the game ends. And I can't stop you because I can't get my bishop to d7. And even if I do, then the king and pawn endgame is still losing for me because you do the exact same thing, but you walk your king to d5. Change. It was to win. Usual lyrics and it's not that in your bottom check. So it was fine. You still change the lyrics to 9 for some reason. Huh. That's cool. It takes away from it a little bit, but. So first off, queen c5 is a way of going about this. If I were playing, I would probably play check. Although the problem is the check doesn't actually do anything. You walk your king to g3, and again, I don't have enough pieces to actually attack you. Meanwhile, you can attack me. So while my checks don't do anything, your checks win the game, right? If I let you play, if I play something stupid like a6, then queen e7 is mate in 10, right? So you're always threatening checkmate. Knight maneuvers. Knight maneuvers are helpful, but that's not the plan here. No. I mean, there's probably someone I don't know, just because I don't know their name. But there can't be that many of them. Banana Joe, thanks so much for the follow. So, like, after queens were exchanged? Okay, yeah, that, but we'll get there. So first off, I should have taken your rook because then I would have been able to get into this pawn structure, which already this is much harder for you to win. And here's the reason. Here's the reason. The reason is because the knight isn't strong enough by itself. You need the king to help. It's like in any other endgame. You know, the king needs to help. And so for the king to help, it needs to enter the position. How does your king enter the position? Right? That's the problem. How does it get in? If you can't get the king in, then this is just a draw. Okay, so now how does your king get in? King f2? I mean, yeah, that's what happened. That's what we did. We kind of transposed, but these moves these inclusions don't make a big difference, I don't think. And the bishop going here doesn't make a big difference. It makes my position easier to play, but I don't think it changes things too much. But g4, now your king never gets in. Like, if I were you, I would be trying to justify h4, h5. I don't know if it works, but maybe you have h5 here, so that's kind of part of the problem. So, like, maybe h4, but then you get h4. I get h5. I don't know. It's very difficult to play. Maybe you play g4 immediately, hoping to play g5. But even that doesn't work. It's very difficult. Maybe you can't get in. Maybe it's a draw. Honestly, it might just be a draw now, because your king can't get in. Which is why letting me take on c3 was a mistake. c3 is a mistake. Because without that, your king can get in, but now it can't. There's nothing you can do. Cue the Napoleon meme. Because, like, if we take this position, let's say, I don't know, let's do something stupid. Let's do this, here, here. Okay, now your king gets in. Because you don't have to get in on the king side anymore, you can get in on the queen side. Whoop, de scoop, de whoop, de scoop, de whoop. Right, let's say you let me get my bishop on e8. Right, here's the problem. If I just start moving back and forth and try to have my fortress, you put your knight on c5, I think. Let me think. Knight c5. And you go for this pawn, I suppose. Play here. And your king gets in. So you can force your king in because of the weakness of this pawn structure, and because I have one pawn on the dark square that my bishop can't defend. Right? Even here, it's saying that this might be a draw, but I'm not sure I believe it. It's a difficult endgame. It's not easy. That's why I played into it. But taking would definitely give you better winning chances because your pawn structure is better. In the actual game, you don't want to trade queens necessarily, except if it gives you a much better position. So you go here to trade queens on c5 to get a passer. Because remember, in endgames, your main priority is either getting your king in all the way or getting a passer. And getting your king in all the way is just a way of getting a passer. So it's passer, passer, passer. How do you get a passer? With the queens off the board, it's not obvious, because my bishop does a very good job defending, and your king can't get in. But if you keep the queens on the board, then you're threatening queen c5 here. And like, what am I going to do after queen c5? Let's say, again, let's say I play something stupid like this, and you play queen c5. Like, what do I do here? Do I play queen e7? That doesn't help me. Queen e7, you take this pawn. Okay, so let's say I play something less. Let's say I play this. Well, hey, guess what? I just created a new weakness on a7. Whoops. Okay, let's say I play this. So you can't take on a7 afterwards. Queen c5 anyway. It depends. It depends. You have to look at the resulting endgame. That's why studying the bishop and knight endgames are important. That's why knowing this is important. Is so that in this position, you can know whether to keep the queens off on. That's why you study endgames. It's because so you can know if this is winning or not. Because if I look at this position, right, and I'm playing white, and I look at this and I say, okay, here, I can't get my king in. It's not a win, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to play something else. I don't know what I'm going to play yet, but I'm going to play something else. Like this, to go here, right? Let's say. Or maybe I play h3 to play g4. Because maybe if I can get some attack, then my knight will prove better. Maybe I try to get my king in by king f2. Either way, the point is just you calculate this. You think, okay, in the resulting endgame, how do I win? How do you win this endgame as white? And if you don't find a way, you don't go for it. Another thing you have to consider here, I don't have any moves. Like, outside of doing something stupid like moving my bishop back and forth, I don't have any way of playing any number of productive moves. I can just, like, sit and shuffle and hope you don't find a way to win. And so with that, you know you have as many moves as you need to find a winning plan. Like, this doesn't work as queen c1. But maybe you want to make this work. So maybe you go here, and then I play king f6, and then you go here. I don't know if this is bad. Yeah, maybe you do this. What was your mistake in the game? My mistake was knight takes in the center. Knight takes here, I think it was. Knight takes d5. Well, my mistake was before that, but the big mistake was knight takes. I don't have a plan. I don't have a way forward. And so in this position, I'm completely tied. I'm completely tied up. And so if you have someone... I mean, from experience, I know if you have someone tied up on your floor and they can't move at all, you can take as much time as you want torturing them. Right? That's kind of how it is here in chess. You can sit back and you can poke and prod as much as you want to try to expose any weakness. And only when you found it do you strike. And you have 7 minutes on the clock. I should be suffering. It's not Zugzwang, because Zugzwang is when I don't have any moves that make my position better or keep it neutral. I only have... Okay, let me slow down. Zugzwang is when I only have moves that make my position worse. In this position, I don't have any moves that make my position better. The subtle difference is that in Zugzwang, I can only make my position worse, but in this position, I can keep it neutral. I can play this king back and forth for the rest of time and do nothing. In Zugzwang, you can't do nothing. That's the problem with Zugzwang. It's compulsion to move. You have to play a bad move. I don't have to play a bad move here. I just don't have any good moves. It's a subtle difference. In Zugzwang, it's winning on the spot because you just have to play any move. And they have to move and they lose. Because they die, right? This isn't Zugzwang because you need to find a way in. But what I'm saying is you have infinite moves to find a way in. Effectively. For all intents and purposes. May I give you counterplay? You calculate that first. But, again, what counterplay? The queen cannot checkmate by herself. She needs another piece. This piece can never join the party. Therefore, I can never checkmate you. Ever. Because remember, the rule is you need 2 more attackers than defenders. I only have 1 piece that can move. So I can never have 2 more attackers than defenders because I don't have 2 pieces to play with. Meanwhile, you do. You do. So you are threatening to attack. I am never threatening to attack. Ever. Trading the queens off is when both kings are weak or if you want to prevent the chance of checkmate. There aren't enough pieces on the board for me to checkmate you. It's difficult because we learn as newer chess players that you always trade queens to get wins in endgames because it's a good rule. But you think about this the same as you think about us both having a rook each. You wouldn't trade off the rook. Right? The queen just feels different because you think, ooh, queen attack, but I don't have enough pieces. Because this bishop fundamentally cannot enter the game. And you can, because the 2 more attackers than defenders, this can attack dark squares, this can't defend dark squares. So you can just attack on the dark squares and have 2 more attackers than defenders. So should I go for the A pawns with the queen and knight? There are multiple plans here. I'm not 100% sure which one is best. My gut instinct is to play for queen d3 and force me to make a move here. Because right now I'm kind of holding everything together. But as soon as I have to push one of my pawns on the queen side, I lose. And so I would be trying to force me to make a move. So like in this position, I can't play queen d3 immediately because queen c1 check and suddenly I have a passer and the game completely changes. And then my bishop can get in. Don't want to allow that. So king f2 first. I play king f6 or something. Doesn't matter. And then you play queen d3. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? Bishop d7. Now you can be very silly and play a4. Which looks stupid, but the point is if I take it, then the queen gets in. And remember, I am never threatening an attack. The black pieces, never threatening an attack. You play king g3, nothing ever happens for the rest of the time. You sit. You sit with the king on g3. I would recommend it, yeah. And then here, now my queen's getting in, and then I'm going to lose. Black pieces is going to lose because my king can't just sit because you have this wonderful knight. This knight changes the game completely. And so I could play like queen c8, but then queen d6 check happens. And once again, you attack on the dark squares because I only have a light squared bishop. And so you have 2 pieces that can attack the dark squares. Only my queen can defend the dark squares. So how do I defend this? Queen e8 or something. Queen e5 check. Can't be bad. Now this. And this. Uh-oh. There go the pawns. POV, you're playing your favorite game with your friend, and you just to find out they're suddenly speaking Japanese. I don't know any Japanese. Or are you saying that sounds like Japanese because I'm just like going on and on? I tend to do that. Bless my heart. Again, it's not easy, but it's simple. Also, why rook c1 mistake? When? Earlier on? Because you had a queen b3 holding on to this, and then you play the knight here and you win. Keep the knight on c7. Why on earth would you move that rook? Sorry. Keep the rook on c7. You play the other rook to c1, and this will be a thorn in my side. I can't develop any of my pieces. I have no play. I have no counterplay. Zero. None. I play h6 to trap the rook. How? Bishop g7? Well, first off, I can't do it now because you play knight g5 and I lose. So, first off, I as black have to prevent knight g5, so I play h6. h4, let's say we include these, and then you play bishop d7. Okay, you take on b7. I don't think I'm trapping anything. Oh. Yeah, it's the POV thing. I'm always confused when I see POV because I never know what people mean by it. That's hilarious. Part of the fun is when I play with my American friends now, I can start speaking Macedonian and they have no idea what I'm saying. But occasionally, you know, I talk with friends I have that from other places and they start speaking some language I don't know and it worked that way. Maybe a psychological mistake. Yeah, it's okay. Spend more than 6 seconds. You have 10 minutes on the clock. These are when you spend time. It's like, okay, is this smoke and mirrors? But still, rook c1. It's unambitious. It's a psychological mistake because you calculate those. You don't just play them. Now here you're completely winning. Due to what we talked about. Again, you just played queen b6. Queen b3 for pressure here and pressure here. Such a natural standard move. I was shocked you didn't play it. And I wonder if it's because you haven't played these queen pawn positions a lot. But queen b3 is such a standard idea. Such a standard idea. I mean, even like... So, again, what I was thinking was king f2 followed by queen d3, which is definitely a way of going about it. However, computer's recommending also knight d3. Let's say I play king f6. Stay consistent. Knight c5. Okay. Let's say something stupid like bishop c8. Now we're cooking. Now you play knight b3, and guess what? You forced me to push a pawn. Whoops. And now... There's so many things you can do here. Like, you could go here, here, here. Heck, you could just go knight c5. You could just go knight c5. And guess what? You forced me to push a pawn. Now I've got more weaknesses. Say I keep playing random nothing moves. You walk the queen in at some point. The mega release will happen. What mega release? Oh wait, are you talking about... Yeah, Plasma 6 is releasing on Wednesday. You're right, you're right. Oh, that's pretty sick. Yeah, I haven't installed the beta. Sorry, the release candidate. Mostly because I just don't feel like dealing with all the packages. I'm looking forward to Plasma 6 though. Except that I'm terrible at chess and cannot get better. Time to ultra kill my mental state. Oh, come on. That's not how that works, Antience. It really isn't. I love ultra kill as much as the next guy. It's not how that works. You can accept that you don't feel like it's worth it to improve at chess. That's fine. But don't say you can't and then ultra kill because of that. Don't. Looking forward to KDE 6. Missed my previous text? Because people have trapped my rook that way. I thought... Oh, yeah, I did miss it. Sack the rook for the knight. I thought of having the f-pawn for support. Maybe. But even sacking the rook for the knight... Like, okay, then now you have a rook that could pile up on things. Ultra kill is greater than chess? I disagree. I'm on release candidate 2. It's pretty much the same as release candidate 1, although more stable. Well, yeah, I would expect so. Right? That's kind of the point of release candidates, yeah? Again, I am not even on Plasma 6 yet. I'm still on 5.27. That's the one, right? There's 5.28. I get it confused. What's the version of Fetch that I have installed? I have Fast Fetch installed. Let me just check real quick. I'm on Plasma 5.8. It's 5.27. Yeah. I'm on Plasma 5.27. I would show you private sessions. You coach quite good. I'm considered doing it. I just haven't put in the time to start. And so, okay, so here's the real reason. I feel a bit more than a little insecure trying to sell my chess teaching abilities when there are grandmasters out there coaching for and not international masters coaching for as cheap as they are. It makes it like it makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Now I'm working on getting over that because I know it's not rational, right? But my plan actually was to buy a coaching session from a respected chess coach online, someone who's known-ish, see how they do it, see what I like and dislike, and then organize my way of selling it around that. But they'll be a better teacher than you. Well, yeah, I know, but it doesn't feel that way, right? Because whenever I'm around a grandmaster, a lot of what I say ends up being not mostly wrong, mostly wrong. Again, I would show you my NeoFetch Orca, but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty bad dox, so... And so, it's like, it's difficult, because then I'm thinking, okay, I'm giving people most information that's mostly wrong. You should turn your streams into videos? Yeah, but who's going to watch a VOD of a 4-hour stream? Nobody, unless you're Germa. But I'm not Germa, unfortunately. Like, cut it up? Yeah. I should. You're right. Well, I guess it's you again, Ronnie, since no one else joined. Say your thought process. Do you think someone would watch that, though, Gabe? Well, I guess that's not really the point. Because, I mean, yeah, people watch Hanging Pawns. But... yes? Well, I mean, that was frank. I mean... so... okay, now I'm curious. How to Win at Chess? Yeah, but that's my problem, is I feel like I would be competing with How to Win at Chess. And I'm not a Gotham Chess. That's... although I think I'm just comparing myself too much to others, and I should just do it anyway. That's probably what I should do. Because I forget, something about the content game is that you're not as directly competing as you think, because a lot of people are looking for something to watch, just in general. Like, they've watched all the How to Win at Chesses, and they want more. I've said before that there is a gap between where Gotham falls off and where Danya starts. And I feel like that's a gap in the market. Because Danya's great, but stuff's difficult. Like, I've watched his endgame stuff, and man. Like, what do you think the gap is? Like you said, between 1600 and... that's even low. Honestly, I think Levy falls off lower than 1600. No insult to Gotham, but I don't think it's 1600 is where it happens. Oh, old videos. Yeah, it's old videos, absolutely. Old Gotham, I think goes higher than that even. I think he goes up to 18 if we're talking about old Gotham. New is like 0 to 1200. Yeah. Again, this isn't a... ooh, Gotham bad. That's not an insult, because he clearly can do better. 1200, 1800? Maybe. But isn't that where Hanging Pawns occupies? Although I'm going to be real. Hanging Pawns, I like him a lot, but maybe he's... I don't know. Hanging Pawns is for everybody. Hanging Pawns is based. Everybody loves Hanging Pawns. This stuff is purely educational. I mean, yeah. Education. Edutainment, I believe is the term. Yeah, plus, Hanging Pawns is very data. Which I'm not going to say is a bad teaching model, but I don't think it's the best teaching model. As is clear by the way I do things around here. You know, the brain is basically a metaphor machine, and so I think it's very productive to use comparisons that people would understand, and specifically ones that are memorable too. That helps as well. Not sure if this is a good idea, but I'm having some fun because it's the Dutch, and that's the Dutch. You gotta have a little bit of fun in the Dutch. Hello, Tin. That's something that Gotham's really good at. He's very good at making you understand exactly what a position feels like. And so in any of his courses or any of Gotham's more serious training materials, he does that super well. Edit the VODs? Well, see, that's also part of the problem. Is doing VODs would be worse. Live commentary is always, not always, maybe always worse than post-game commentary. What is it, Tin? Talk to us. Because even the people who do one takes, there's a reason they don't do them live. During, you know, 2100 things with Stockfish. But do people care what a 2100 thinks during the game? They care what a 3300 thinks during the game. That's why they want to watch Hikaru. Care what 2000 is thinking? Over something like over Hikaru, effectively. And then, so they get both? That's fair. That can work. Hold on, lag. Take your time. I mean, this is a goofy way of going about this, but I'm going to try it. I'm playing a little bit silly this game because I kind of want to. It's the Dutch. It's built for having fun. And I'm having fun in this game. Stream's being laggy. Weird. I don't think it's on my end. Let me check my OBS real quick. It tells me, usually. Yeah, I think we're good. King on F6. Let's go. This bishop's coming here. This rook's coming here. Blitz, sometimes you can't explain a single idea in the whole game. Well, Blitz is a different matter entirely. So it's kind of a mind the gap sort of thing. But yeah, no, I see your point. Maybe. What I would have to do in order to make it work... Oh, I'm dumb. I completely missed that move. Is I would have to... I would have to commit time to it the way I do streaming. That's something I've noticed. Is the only way I'm successful at doing things is when I commit a specific time that I'm going to do it during. And then I have to stick to it. But the sticking to it is the part where I'm inconsistent. Streaming's kind of easy, but... Understand 2100s and Hikaru. Are we playing a draw? Are we drawing? Well, you're one step ahead of me. I don't understand a car half the time. No, I'm mated. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah, King F6 was incredibly dumb. I should have just played Queen King H8. There's no reason not to. Even King H8 would have been bad. Just this first, and then this, and then King F8. I think I was cooking until I blundered mate. Story of my life right there. Finally defeat you. I think I was cooking. I think I had an advantage out of the opening. Yeah, it's literally free Q. Okay, looks like it was pretty even most of the game. This is why I love the Dutch. In the Dutch, this can be a completely even position. Like, look at this position. It's the goofiest thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to pay people in clout. I'm not going to ask someone to do labor for me for clout. I don't like that at all. I'm not going to approach someone and be like, hey, you want to do actual work for internet style points? I don't like that. This was such a dumb move. Again, just this. Bishop d7, then here. I mean, you could play Queen d4 anyway, honestly. But... Nah, free labor. Unethical free labor. Which I guess all free labor is unethical free labor, but you get the point. Well, go for it, Ronnie. There's no one in the queue. There's no one in the queue. I mean, it's like the streams of old, where it used to be like 2 people. Did I make many mistakes? No, I mean, there was that like little bit of inaccuracy in the opening that led to it being like I equalized, you know? But then after King F6, it was just immediate off with his head. You know what I mean? Yup. Missed 1 point to go to my country's top 107th grade English speaking and 2 points for the same category maths. Oh, that hurts. Tinge. Either send me a game to analyze or shoot me a challenge. Whatever you prefer. I'm trying to $10 to $15 for it. I had it written down how much I would charge somewhere. I had a plan. I think my plan was 20. My plan was either 10 or 20. Maybe my plan was... I had it written down. I still have it written down. I just don't remember where I put the papers. Just coaches? I've researched a little. Okay, I'll go to the next person, then you can... And then I'll get to you when you're ready. Which means it's Ronnie again. Hey, 3 in a row. Do it. Do it, 10. I have a disease known as Lee chess player. That's horrible. I don't think it's chronic, so I think you can. Yeah, I think you can survive, but it's a terrible, terrible disease. Why would I want to record the chess coaching for YouTube? If you notice, the only recorded chess coach content on the internet is of it with a celebrity, right? Because the value of a chess coach over a YouTube video is the ability to ask questions and be specific for you. And though both of those are lost if it's a recording. Based Gabe. No. The live and then analyzing the game afterwards is a better idea than the other one, in my opinion. Because, I mean, then I could do a 10+0 game. I could try to commentate it live, and then I could analyze it afterwards, and boom, that's a video, because that's like 20 minutes. Okay, I'll look at that in a second. C5, F. Okay. So far, so good. Okay, so something I'm fairly certain of, Ronnie, which you can look into this and correct me, is you should be playing G3, Bishop G2. I'm fairly certain this is the main line, and it's considered best. This Bishop F4 and then E3 stuff immediately, I don't think it's as accurate. It's not bad, but it simply allows black to get a pretty comfortable position in a way they shouldn't be allowed to in the Dutch. You know, the Dutch is a little bit suspicious of an opening, and so to properly punish it, I really think you should be going G3, Bishop G2. This is fine and all, but I don't think it's as... I'm fairly certain it's not as correct. Yeah, G3 is most played. Queen C2 is also played a lot, but I have no idea what that. I guess you're trying to play E5, E4 mainly. Okay, so Queen C2 is a move. And Bishop F4 a move. But G3 is most popular by a long shot. So I would look into that if I were you, but this is fine. Just as a Dutch player, I know when I see this, I'm like, I'm gonna go like, whew, because I know I'm going to get an easy game from an opening perspective. Obviously, like the past two games, one of them I had a massive disadvantage, the other one I lost. So clearly, I'm not saying it's terrible, but like I'm comfortable. It's pretty big, yeah. Bishop E2, but okay. Okay, D5, C65, knight x5. Queen B3 is such a common motif. I feel like you need to be calculating Queen B3 more often than you are, because he's not going to take. That allows bishop takes, and it's just horrible for him. I love the G6 line too. It's the Leningrad is what it's called. Queen B3 is a very strong move in these positions. It really, really is. Because now at some point you're also threatening like a C5 and he can't take because it's pinned to the bishop, or you take anyway. If he goes knight takes, then you can play bishop here, and you get this beautiful long diagonal for your bishop as well. Queen B3 is just a move to consider. It's very active. It's an X-ray tactic. Yeah, it's an X-ray tactic. It's a developing move. Your rooks are now connected. It's just a very useful move. Taking is a bit premature. FIDE Ring's doing? I mean, they're up. I gained a ton of rapid elo because I played a ton of rapid tournaments, but classical I haven't played in a while because there just aren't that many tournaments. There have been a lot of rapid tournaments though, so I've gained a ton of rapid elo. Probably going to be up like 100. Yeah, I just checked. I gained 50 elo last month. I'm gaining 50 elo this month. Nope. I am 1660 something currently. But I gained 50 elo from a tournament I played like 2 days ago. So I'm going to be 1700 when March rolls around. Assuming I don't dump all my elo at an upcoming tournament. Which I don't think I will. I've been doing pretty consistently well. But I regularly perform like an 1850 or higher, and so that's why I'm gaining so much elo. And there's been a bunch of rated rapid tournaments recently. They're super popular now for some reason. Not complaining, I love rapid tournaments. D5, CX, D5, knight takes. And again, so you're just letting him get a really strong knight for not really a good reason. See, I don't like this either. Develop your bishop. This bishop on E2 is tentatively there. It's not there permanently. It wants this diagonal. Yeah, on my best day, I can perform like a 2K, but that's on my best of best day where I'm playing out of my mind. I'm only consistently like 1850. But you double your pawns on the F-file? If he wants to take on F6, be my guest. First off, this. But second, okay, I just play... First off, I can play queen takes. Who cares? Now the rook is hanging. What are you going to do? Be my guest. Do you know how bad... This bishop pair is dominant. No, knight takes F4? Knight takes F4? Oh, be my guest. Look at this E6 pawn. What are you going to do? Look at this hole for the knight. I would be celebrating if my opponent played this. How do you develop your pieces? First off, this. How do you deal with this? You'd have to play bishop d4, e5, which is hideous. Look at these knights. But you got a bishop pair? Well, not for long. First off, he has to give you the bishop pair back, because this is immediately hanging. And how do you defend it? You're not going to play rook f6. Don't try to tell me you're going to play rook f6. There's no universe where you play rook f6. You play rook f6, I play rook e1. You haven't even done anything, so you still have to defend it. Queen d7, I take anyway, which is hilarious. And then I play queen b3, and whoops, that's an exchange. Very funny. So first off, you have to play bishop d5 to defend the pawn. And you want to defend the pawn, because if I take this and then like push d5, get this knight in here, you're dead. So you must in this position play bishop d5. I cannot see another candidate move. Legitimately. Like maybe play king h8, but I just take anyway. So that's a pawn and an incredibly strong knight. And so yes, he's got the bishop pair, but again, bishop pair is only valuable in some positions. You have to decide. So he has to play bishop d5. He can't let you take that pawn. So then you play bishop takes I mean, if you're really scared, you could theoretically justify knight takes. It's not as good. You get doubled pawns, but in return, you get the best pieces in the world. This bishop doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And then you get queen b3, and this is weak. If you play c3, then you get knight here, and this is weak. And the e file belongs to you. So, yes, you do have doubled pawns, and your opponent does have a bishop. However, you have better pieces. Control over the open file, central control, and a more safe king. You basically have every advantage that's not the double pawns. And again, double pawns aren't always weak. Double pawns are sometimes weak. So you have to figure out if this is one of the sometimes where they're weak. I would say no. Double pawns being always weak is a common misconception. Very common misconception. A lot of people get confused. Double pawns are not always weak. They are sometimes weak. And and if they're isolated, they're still sometimes weak, but they're very, very often weak. But these are not isolated. Your double pawn is here. Honestly, I'd be more worried about this, but you can't do anything about it, so who cares? These are not weak. This is not a weak pawn. You play g3, you're fine. They control the center very nicely, and you're going to get the best knight of all time. Double pawns are sometimes weak. So bishop c4 is just the move. And even if you don't want to play bishop c4, then, like, okay. I would even consider moving the bishop back. I don't know if it's good. Nah, let's have knight c3. Okay, never mind. Take it back. a3 is so slow. a3 is so slow. I get it. You want to move the rook. But... Can you sack the pawn? Oh yeah, the bishop gets trapped. Yeah, okay, a3. Don't play a3. In that case, don't play a3. Too weak to get an open round tournament. Beat the third board round tournament. Yeah, just too weak to play in a tournament. Silly. Unless you're playing like a team event. But I don't know. rook C, you can play rook c1 because he can't take because the bishop gets trapped. So that's another thing. Is a3 is slow. Rook c1, immediate pressure. Again, you're playing very timid, very unsure of yourself. You're trying to avoid weaknesses. Here's the thing: in chess, sometimes you got to give a little to get a little. Especially in positions as goofy as the Dutch, which the Dutch is especially goofy. So this is especially true for the Dutch. You should be willing to give up and have a small weakness if your opponent has a bigger one. That's a net win for you. Just in general in chess. So in this position, playing bishop c4, it's like, okay, you create a small weakness, but he's got much bigger weaknesses. This is a much bigger weakness than this. So you've given up a small weakness, but you've given him a big weakness. That's a win. Ronnie, thanks so much for the gifted sub. And you have control over both the open files. He can't develop. c6. Knight a4, and just everything belongs to you. The entire chessboard is yours. The entire chessboard is yours. Knight e5, and just... Again, here's just all winning. So clearly winning. Because you gave a small advantage for a big advantage. That's a win. You do that. Again, when it makes sense. And the Dutch, that's a huge part of the Dutch, is small advantage for big advantage. Because the Dutch, somebody's going to have a disadvantage. You can't avoid disadvantages in the Dutch. It's such a crazy opening. Both sides are going to have crazy big weaknesses, gaping holes in their positions. When I get myself into I've said no, accepted 100 because he's part of their club, and the time in 1800 League Chess called me too weak, and I want to open tournaments. If it's an open tournament, you can't be too weak for an open tournament. That's not what the word open means. Okay. Either way, a3's timid. a3's timid. Play rook c1 immediately. Let him trap his bishop. Okay. Ronnie's being based. I know. Knight e5, sure. Knight d7. You see what I mean? This isn't the worst thing in the world. That's kind of dry. It's very dry. He takes and it's a drawn endgame. You know what I mean? You play chess, but there's not a whole lot to do. Now, he gave himself double pawns, but honestly, in this position, double pawns aren't that weak either. Truth be told, double pawns are not that weak here. And he can do this and win this pawn back. And, I mean, the problem is this pawn, honestly. But, okay. This isn't even that bad for black. But he played b5. Now, you should play d5 here. I am manifesting d5. Dang it, you didn't play d5. Okay. So, remember how we said double pawns are sometimes weak? In this position, these double pawns are not weak. This pawn here might be a little weak if you can target it, but it's hard to. Ridiculous. Anyway, this is a little bit weak, but the double pawns here aren't that weak. The open file is nice. They aren't weak in this position. However, after b5, now the double pawns are weak. Now he has double backwards pawns on an open file. That's beyond weak. That's losing. So he can't take. So he has to play e5. And now this pawn can't be defended. And this acts as an anchor for a rook on c6. So you play a rook to c1, probably rook a to avoid any nonsense here. And then you play rook c6, queen c2, and you just hammer away. And what is he supposed to do? He's going to sit and suffer. Miserable position. Hey, Leonardo da Vinci. Long time no see. How you been? This position is miserable. Because again, you have a small weakness. This is a small weakness. This and this are both far bigger. And you have full control over the open file. Because he can try playing something like rook a c8. But you play rook c6. And like we said, this pawn is an anchor. This loses on the spot. Because now he's got this passer to deal with. And he's still got a ton of weaknesses. So you're not even losing any material. So congratulations, you have full control over the open file for the only open file in the position, by the way, for the rest of the game. And you have targets to hammer away at. Want to exchange the queen there? Well, because after you exchange the queen, this pawn is going to fall, and you don't have enough to stack up against the pawn. Remember what we talked about when we were talking about the isolated queen pawn, and I talked about how trading queens is bad because it lets the opponent's king walk in, and suddenly he can defend his weaknesses. This is one of those positions. As soon as you trade queens, you can be fancy, but king e7, I defend my weakness, and this is a bigger weakness than mine is. And I can just push this pawn and get my own passer. And mine's going to be protected. Painful. Black is for choice here, for that reason. d5, king d6, rook c8. You're going to lose this pawn. Because my king can get in and defend everything. And the weaknesses are farther away from your king than they are my king. So, trading off the queens in the endgame effectively lets both kings start the run to the center. All rook endgames are drawn. It's so super hard to win rook endgames. That's not the point. The point is, yeah, trading blindly and not trading blindly are both something you should avoid doing. Because you have to think, what does the trade do to change the position? I remember it was GM Maurice Ashley was talking about how he would train his students, and he would say, if you're trading, it has to be one of the two Fs. It either has to be forcing or it has to be fantastic. Otherwise, you don't trade. That was his thing that he tried to teach his young students when he was teaching them chess. Forcing or fantastic? Is trading queens here forcing? No. Is it fantastic? Also no. Don't trade. So I would recommend that you go by the forcing or fantastic rule. Only if it helps you. It's the same difference. To take is a mistake, and he is correct. Forcing or fantastic. Those are the only two situations where you trade off pieces. So if you can trade off equal material, is it forcing? No. Is it fantastic? No. Don't. It's Remote Chess Academy. Never heard of him. Me? I've just watched a lot of tournaments, and I keep the quotes in here because I like them. Rook fc1. d5, and now, perfect example of what I was talking about earlier. These double pawns aren't a weakness. This position is dead even. Queen c3, queen f7, rook f1, h6, queen c6, queen g6, nothing. Queen d6, rook g5, queen h2, queen e8, and now we're just going to maneuver back and forth. Rook a8 is a terrible move. Rook a8 is just a why is Rook a8 a terrible move? Do any of y'all know why Rook a8 is a terrible move? Or do any of y'all have an idea why Rook a8 is a terrible move? It's not that complicated. I'm just curious if any of y'all are thinking in that direction. Because the computer gives it a question mark. Technically correct. The best kind of correct. Now go listen to Stockfishing and try to memorize all engine moves. Why is Rook a8 a terrible move? Okay, I'm not saying an answer, so I'll give you the answer. Activity, rook gonna move for an attorney. Perfect. It takes a beautifully active piece and turns it into a terribly inactive piece. Forget your plays on the king side. This rook is good. This is a good rook. Now it is a bad rook. He has undeveloped a piece. Like, legit, I would just let him take the pawn. I don't care. Like, the computer's saying rook f6, and takes is not even good. Like, because now white's done the same thing. This rook has gone from active to, like, kind of not as active. But okay. So that move is bad. Inactive piece. But I would play a5. If I were playing this position, I would play a5. Then rook c5, like queen e8. Because the queen can still be active. Again, so you make an active rook inactive. King h1, okay, I see it. Queen e8, terrible move. Not terrible, it's bad. Yep. Rook d6. And see, now this is where Ronnie is in a very fortunate position. His opponent's making his pieces worse. His pieces are now significantly worse placed than they were 3 moves ago. There's a lot of synergy in these pieces. These pieces are scattered and doing nothing. So even though the position is still a draw, this position is now harder for black than it was 3 moves ago. We'll see, we'll see. This position is more difficult for black than it was 3 moves ago. Still a draw objectively, but it's more difficult. Exactly, yeah. So now, white's playing for the win, not because black made a mistake, but because black is demonstrating his lack of understanding of the position. Rook d6, sure. I would be playing rook fc first, but sure, rook d6 makes sense. a5, f4. Okay, okay. Rook f3, okay. I like it, I like it. A takes, rook f. Yeah. You did it again. Queen f4. Maybe you can't play queen f4. Okay, queen g1. I like this rook on this position, but okay. Rook f1. Because now, like, if he goes here, he can bring the rook to c2. And then this rook on the second rank is amazingly strong. f4 is interesting. I don't mind it. The problem here is you're allowing him full control over the second rank. Which it doesn't look like you are, but it's dangerous because you are. The queen move is better because after queen g1, if he goes rook c8, you can play this check. And then after king g8, he doesn't have control over the second rank anymore because he can't play rook c2. Right? Which that's a kind of advanced. I wouldn't see it. I don't think. So I don't expect you to see it either. Rook f1, the problem is after rook c8, he gets rook c2, and he's basically winning because he gets full control of the second rank, and your pieces are worse than black's. Rook a2. Rook a2 is... can't be a good move. Well, it's natural. It's very natural, but it's wrong. h4. Rook g4. h4. What was the intention behind h4? I would prefer g4. Protect the pawn, block this rook's sight, and kind of trap it because it can't go anywhere but backwards. So it'd have to go backwards where it goes forwards. Yeah. The queen's just kind of bad, though. On g4, I find much more natural than h4. I don't understand h4. h4 just feels like it creates another weakness, and it doesn't protect the pawn. Forgot about rook g4. Okay, but even if I play rook f5, I still don't understand h4. You take, I go rook a1 and you lose your queen. So you can't take. Even if I go rook f5. Now what? So there's 2 tactical reasons this doesn't work. Not just one. There's a tactical reason, there's a positional reason. The tactical reason is rook f5. The positional reason is rook g4. Okay. You played rook g4, you played queen h3, you played queen f5. Come on, synergy between the pieces, my guys. Pieces need work together. Also, this defends this pawn. I guess he was scared of the pin? I don't agree with that. Anyway. Queen h5, not a good move. Rook f4. Okay, very nice. Rook g6. And... timeout. Why can't I play g4? Why can't I play g4? I already played h4. Clearly I don't care about my kingside. That's why I'm bad. Oh, come on. g4 is not that obvious. But okay. Rook takes e6. And now he has a billion checks. And so it's probably a draw. But He doesn't. He goes rook takes b2. And you miss g4 again. Well, yeah, but if the traps the queen, it doesn't matter that your king's exposed, right? What's he going to attack it with? Yeah, is he, you know, the only attack he's got going is just giving you a nice slug right here, IRL, because there's no attack on the board. Anyway, queen f5 check. Okay, now rook endgame. I don't know who I prefer playing here. Probably, I don't know. Rook endgame. Should be a draw. Okay, rook takes. Here, push, you put, okay. Draw rook endgame. Draw rook endgame. Nothing, there's nothing to pretend for here. Yeah, sure. Sure. A lot of chances for both sides. A lot of interesting chess to be played here. Again, you are excruciatingly unwilling to give up something little for something big, which it is understandable because it's very scary, but a lot of times that's what the position demands. And if the position demands it, who are you to say no, right? If Kaisa demands that you give her a sacrifice to win the game, then what are you going to do? Say no? The ancient Aztecs were like throwing babies in volcanoes, and you won't sacrifice a piece. Come on, man. No. That's not what I said, Leonardo. The Aztecs are throwing babies in volcanoes, and you won't give yourself double pawns in order to win the game. They were throwing babies in volcanoes for no reason. They didn't even have a reason to sacrifice. I mean, come on. So yeah, I would say your greatest crime is timidity. But honestly, I think it's a good sign. You held your ground remarkably well against this 2000, and you could have beaten him. You really could have, multiple times. So I think it's good stuff, and you definitely have positional sense, and you have a tactical sense. The problem is they're a little overtuned. Egyptians throw babies into volcanoes? I've never said that before. This is the first time I've said that. I'm sure of it. I just came up with it now. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But I can't say if it was funny or not. No way. I have not said that in a previous stream. It's tactics, but also while you're playing the game, just consider the fact that giving something small for giving something big is the same as, okay, it's like you're not willing to give up your knight for a rook. That's what it feels like. You're not willing to win the exchange. Lawfish lying. I'm not lying. Anyway, it's like you're not willing to take the exchange. So it's like your opponent gives you a rook for a bishop and you don't take it because you're like, I don't want to give up my bishop. It's a strong bishop. It's like, yeah, but you get a rook, you know? And so over the board, it's hard, but at some point you have to take a step back and be like, okay, am I gaining more from this than I'm losing? Because if I am, it's the same as free material. Taking an exchange is the same as taking 2 pawns. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Maybe it's a little bit harder to play from a practical perspective, but from a philosophical perspective, it's the same thing. Right? So it's good stuff. I mean, you're playing well. This is not a... I'm giving you the negatives because I feel like that's my job as someone analyzing your game. But like I said, you clearly have positional sense. Because you're seeing these things and you're avoiding the double pawns and you're activating your pieces, you know? There's a lot of good things in here, which makes, like, the moment where you get to finally take advantage of it difficult to watch. Not because it's particularly terrible a move, but because it's like, oh, you know? Yeah. Forced or fantastic, right? As Maurice Ashley once said. Plus, here's the thing. Whoever, I think it was you, Tin, who asked about where I have all these quotes from. I'm 90% sure I get most of them wrong. For example, the Force are fantastic. I'm fairly certain there's a third F that I don't remember, so I'm just skipping it. It's very Eastern European of me. It's like, I get the general idea of what he's saying. The actual words don't matter. It's about the story. You know? I've lived in Macedonia for too long. Hey, what you gonna do? I think it works. Who's gonna call me out on it? Was that one of the US Chess Championships where he said that? Otherwise faulty? Maybe it was. I don't remember. Yes, I did say that. Now, Tin's finally putting out a quote of something I actually said. Now we're talking. C5, C takes, E takes, sure. E4, H6, sure. BH4, G5. What's the better move? I like this move. I mean, it's obviously good, but... saying D takes, E takes 97. Or here. And then G5. It's move ordering, yeah. Okay. Okay. E5. You take. Wonderful. Okay. H3. Knight B6. I like Knight B6. Develop a piece. Bishop F5. I plan on castling long. It's interesting. I like it. So far, so good. I like everything. I like everything I'm seeing. Bishop D6. Rook C1. Rook HG8. Very clean. A4. Kill him. Yeah, he deserves death. Who are you to deny him? G3. Rook takes. And finito. Very clean game of chess. So the reason it's not as good is because this just wins a pawn. However, I should probably close the queue. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, the song? Yeah, it's a fairly famous song, is it not? I'm closing the queue. Today's stream going to be a little shorter, but it'll be nice. It'll be a relaxing stream. Do it. So it looks like G4 allows bishop G3 and you only win the pawn, versus taking immediately, which allows takes and then H6, and then here you play Queen E7. And the problem is if he takes the bishop, you take the knight with check. So bishop D3, and now you play G5, because after bishop G3 you're winning a full piece. So the move order means that you're winning more material from it. Although, even then, this is still complicated. I have watched some Ben Feingold. I watch him occasionally. I can't watch him too much because I get a little burned out of how very sarcastic he is. Like, super duper sarcastic. And it sometimes feels mean-spirited, but I know it's not. But I recently watched his most recent video on the Czech Benoni. Fascinating video. And he is very good at explaining things because he legitimately knows quite a lot. Yeah, even with kids. With kids, it's even funnier. Because a lot of it, I don't know if it goes over their heads or if they just don't care. It's hilarious, man. But that's beside the point. So I find it a little grating just because I'm not used to it. Culturally, you know, I'm from a different part of the US, so I see that as just bad manners. right? It's not, because he's not from, you know, the Bible Belt where that's bad manners. So it's not, but it's still a little difficult for me to get over. Although, again, like I said, I do watch his stuff. His most recent video on the Czech Benoni was excellent and super interesting. And I'm definitely going to pull out the Czech Benoni once or twice to mess with people when I think they're not expecting it. Because, you know, I like doing that. I like having random things to just random bunnies to pull out of my hat. You know what I mean? Yep. That sounds like Ben Feingold. And again, you can tell none of it's mean-spirited. It's just, I'm not used to it. I've gotten more used to it over time. The first time I watched him talk, I didn't like him at all. But over time, I've liked him more and more. And I think as time goes on, I'll like him even more. But yeah, I do watch him sometime. Because he's just a very calm, rational guy. And that's, you know, that's refreshing. And all the content. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I mean, you know? And it's very relaxing. You know, you watch the Gotham and the Hikaru, and you watch Ben Feingold, it's a completely different experience. In a good way. And, you know, occasionally, he'll say something funny. Like at the end of his most recent Hans Niemann drama video, he said, the chances of Hans Niemann becoming world champion are the same as the chance of Gotham Chess becoming a GM. And somehow he managed to insult both sides with that comparison. And I find that incredibly impressive. Both sides came out of that one insulted, and that's how you know he came up with a good comparison. Leonardo da Vinci. Well, it's not your turn yet, Tim, so I want to see it, but... Well, it shows Da Vinci is still viewing, but I'm not sure if he's still here. I mean after this? He means after this. Okay, Pinchy isn't responding, so we'll just do you now. Ben Feingold is unique in the serious chess world. Yep, he is. Just giving you a trailer. Ah, yeah, I got you. I respect it. He is. And I think the chess world is better for having him around. Okay, 10, hit me. Oh, are you DMing it to me on chess.com again? Here we go. Played it about a month ago. Completely unrelated note, I need a haircut. But I can't decide what I want to do with my hair, so I'm putting it off until I can actually look into it. But I don't want to look into it. I'm in a very weird spot. I'm in a very weird spot. Bit less 20, 25 days ago. Sure. Because, like, everyone I talk to who has long hair talks about how layers are, like, amazing. Right? But then, on the other hand, everyone that I talk to who has long hair is a whammon. So, the comparison isn't as apt. It's not a direct one-to-one, you know what I mean? Bishop e3, d6, near minus 2050, yeah, same thing. 3, knight f6, knight d2, knight bd7, bishop c4. Okay. Standard. So far, so normal. Rook C1 I don't like. Is this move really necessary? Close. Yeah, no, yeah. Sounds like Ben. Okay, Rook C1 is the first move I really, really don't like. Bruv, my guy, my dude, castle. Just castle. Like, we talk about the tactics like, okay, guess what? You blundered a tactic. But, like, why? Just castle. Just castle. Don't make yourself have to think about it later. Just castle. Okay. My chess coach, not my chess coach, but the coach at my chess club, or former coach, because now I'm the coach. The former coach at my chess club always used to say, first castle, then action. No other order. Castles, bishop d7. Okay. Knight b3. Queen a8. And we kill him. Yeah. Let's go. We stay winning. How about no castle? Very rare, but sometimes. Queen a3. Bishop c5. And just take the piece. Take it. Just, it's free. It's free. Just take. This is a little... Because see, now you're up in exchange. In this position, it like takes effort to win. You know, you're still winning, but you have to think about connected passers. Why have to think about connected passers? You don't want to have to think about connected passers. Nobody wants to have to think about connected passers. I don't want to have to think about connected passers. Don't give him connected passers. Just take. I don't care what you take with. Take with something. Don't give him connected passers. Just make your life easier. And now this is an even stronger threat. But okay. But okay. Not the worst thing in the world. Keep taking the wrong pawn. Get rid of this. Again, you're going to win, but if you don't, this will be the reason. Gotta go, thank you. No problem, Ronnie. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm chilling here for so long. Bishop b4, rook b5. See, now you can't take it. Ugh. And now he gets b6. King f1. Bishop c5 check. And now you have to think. Now the position is winning, but it's very hard. You've done this to yourself, Tim. You've done this to yourself, Tim. Yes, but Tin, the only reason your opponent hasn't already resigned is because you haven't taken this b-pawn. Get rid of his greatest strength. Make your game plan brain dead easy. You're playing good chess, but you're playing good chess that makes your game harder, and that's not the best chess. Make your plan brain dead easy. This isn't brain dead easy. This is brain dead easy. You play some king move, and now you go rook takes e5. And guess what? Now he's only got one. No passers. No passers, yeah, but especially no connected passers. Connected passers are even worse. Because again, this position, you're still winning, but let's say he takes. Okay, let's say he takes. This is not a trivial win anymore. You actually have to think and calculate. Or worse yet, plays rook a8 and starts pushing the a pawn. I have to think now. Be lazy. Okay, rook e8, king f3, good. a4, rook d7, king g8. Ooh, king g8 I hate. He's doing the same. He's playing the same mistake that you are. Okay, good. Good. More passer. Very nice. Okay, you should be murdering him. King d5, good. c4, rook takes c4. Very nice. Yeah, now you're just completely killing him. Wonderful, and he resigns. Excellent, excellent. Again, for a brief moment, there was a twinkle in the eye of the position that maybe you weren't going to win. Your opponent didn't deserve the twinkle. Don't give him the twinkle. You gave him the twinkle. Don't do it. Otherwise, very nice game. That's why I also want castling, is because no castling this early gave your opponent a twinkle. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be lazy. Be smart lazy, more specifically. Yes, the B pawn should have been eliminated many moves ago. Bruv. I have like 2 people I know streaming chess right now, and they are both not at the board and just have random games on screen. Twitch, bottom text. Am I right, fellas? I think we'll just call it. I'm tired. Good day, but long day. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I will see you all next time.